The master dipped his brush in the ink, stroked his beard thoughtfully, and then resolutely opened his eyes and began to make confident strokes on the canvas. A surprised Huang Yu asked if this was a painting of intention. Lu Shen replied that it was exactly that. The third level of the painting is an intention painting. Heavenly Encyclopedia. There are 4 main levels of painting: painting image, painting spiritualization, painting intention, painting incarnation. The first level is usually awarded to a painting that depicts the world around us. While such a picture may be unusually realistic, it is the lowest level. The second level indicates the extraordinary realism of the painting. Such paintings seem to depict real things as if they can be touched. The third level, in addition to realism, offers the feeling of the painting. It is as if the viewer is in the image, he becomes part of the image. The fourth level is awarded to paintings that carry their own special aura, which blends with the real world so inextricably that it is impossible to distinguish the painted from the real. Feeling annoyed, Zhang Xuan thought about the fact that he thought that if a painting was realistic, it was beautiful. It turns out that this is the lowest level. Putting down his brush, Yuan Yu said that he had not painted for such a long time. It didn't turn out as well as he would have liked. Huang Yu asked Master Lu, "Is this or is it a third-level painting?" The latter replied that it was, but she had barely crossed that threshold. As for why, they would have to guess for themselves, and whoever was closest would win. He then pointed at Brother Zhang, saying that it was his turn now. The latter thought irritably about how he really wanted him to draw, but he doesn't know how to draw anything. You can't just draw a little chicken, attach an eagle to it, and call the painting a divine phoenix. He swears he won't get out of here alive. He asked with a smile, "Can he read a little before painting?" Lu Shen asked in surprise, "Why would he want to do that? Doesn't he lack the knowledge to do that?" The guy awkwardly laughed, replying that he didn't. It's still hard for him to reach the right state of mind for painting on his own. Every time before painting, he reads to improve the quality of the result. Yuan Yu said that a good state of mind and performance are closely related. For his age, it is really difficult to instantly find that very harmony. He turned to Master Lu, asking that didn't he say that he had some books on painting in his study? Let him let the young man read them, and then he would show them his skill. The frightened Lu Shen replied that the last time he read his books, it brought some difficulties. But please, he doesn't mind at all. He knows where his office is. Zhang thanked Master Lu, and then added that he could be there as if he were at home. Walking out into the courtyard, Zhang thought about the golden book he found, making all the knowledge of the books he looked through his own as well. But martial arts and painting are quite different. It's not like he doesn't know anything about how to paint a painting. The Heaven's Path library can see all the flaws and copy all the books for his own use, but it can't turn him into a true master of calligraphy and painting in an instant. Unless he finds enough books in the library forms a better manual. Huang Yu told the master that she had never heard of anyone reading a book to get in the right mood. Lu Shen replied that this is an individual matter. It is difficult to study it. Yuan Yu added that it was something like a ritual. There was an expert who, before becoming famous, was in the business of selling firewood. Bai Sen said he knows who the man is talking about. Is it Elder Lu Chai? The man replied that yes, it is Elder Lu Chai. His career was hard. They probably don't know the full story. Few people are interested in the fact that before fighting, the man used to chop wood to enter the right states and hit all his enemies. There are many examples like this. Probably his friend's books help him tune in. But there's something that confuses him. Lu Shen smilingly told him not to be shy and to speak up. The man said that when he finished painting, he looked at Zhang, but the man looked at his painting as if he didn't understand what level it was, or what strokes were used. Lu Shen told his friend that as a doctor he was much more observant than him, but here he immediately guessed the secrets of his paintings, looking for the second layer when no one even realized it. Yuan Yu replied that he might be wrong. Well, for sure they would only find out when he started painting. Why did Lu Shen ask him what he said about wanting to visit someone else's house tonight? The gray-haired man replied that he had heard that Grandmaster Zhang Xuan had arrived in the city. He was able to solve the problem of Lord Lin's wife and also manage Du Miao Xuan's ailment. He wants to visit the Grandmaster and perhaps get some advice from him. Lu Shen was surprised, and his friend offered to visit him together. He knows that the latter has been dreaming for a long time and has reached the 4th level in painting. He is sure the Grandmaster will be able to help him. Huang Yu asked the prince, "Did Master Yuan Yu really say that they have a Grandmaster in town?" Bai Sen replied that it seems like it. The whole city is talking about him now. Lu Shen agreed and said that they would go after the trial. In the courtyard of Zhang Huang's classroom, Zheng Yang and his friend Mo Xiao with sticks in their hands that had a soft defense on the ends. The guy with the bandana and said that he had learned some techniques and wanted to show him as well. Zheng Yang agreed. The other 4 students were watching from around the corner. Yang Li asked who they thought could win. Yuan Dao replied that he had heard that Teacher Wang had taught Mo Xiao's secret techniques. Zhao Yao exclaimed in surprise, "Really the Wang clan's secret techniques?" And Yang Li asked, "Is the Wang clan famous for wielding a spear?" Wang Ying said that there are 2 Wang families in Tianshuan. One is theirs, which is one of the 4 great families. The other is a spear-wielding family, Wang Chun's family. Wang Chong is known as the most skillful spearmaster. Even the emperor recognized his talent. The Wang family's secret techniques are unique and unrepeatable, and all spearmen dream of obtaining them. After hearing this, Yang Li said that Zheng Yang would definitely lose then. But Zhao Yao objected that it was not necessary. Zheng Yang was much weaker than her before, but after Teacher Zhang's help she is inferior to him, so this fight is unpredictable. Yuan Dao said such powerful techniques, family heirlooms. Teacher Wang passed down some of this kind of knowledge to his disciple. This is really generous. They are serious about winning. Pulling his spear forward, Mo Xiao said that Teacher Wang taught him the 3rd technique, the 7th technique, and the 18th technique. So let him be careful. He rushed to attack, using the 3rd technique, the cold glitter offensive. After blocking the strike, Jin Yang grinned, saying that it was magnificent. Watching excitedly, Wang Ying told her friend that Mo Xiao had made such achievements. Why is he showing them off right now? Wouldn't it have been better to surprise the opponent at the teacher evaluation itself? But Yang Li replied that it was their brotherly bond. Mo Xiao and Zheng Yang grew up together and of course they don't want to fight each other. So he came to his friend saying that he wanted to compete, but what he really wanted to do was to tell him what he had learned, so that he could prepare. Yuan Dao added that he even said the names of his techniques, didn't he? They wouldn't see such a thing in a normal fight. The girls realized that their friendship was so strong. Zheng Yang deftly blocked every attack of his friend. Mo Xiao began to spin the spear above his head, using the 18th technique, the return of the forest canary. Blocking this direct strike but bouncing back, Zheng Yang thought to himself that this was an amazing technique. Straightening up, he told his friend that he had learned a lot, but he wasn't idle either. Let him see what he had learned from Teacher Zhang. Touching the soft end of the stick to the floor, it was as if waves of water appeared around him. He said that his technique, and still not as perfect as teacher's. Mo Xiao shockedly looked at this, thinking to himself, what kind of movements are these? Even the atmosphere around him changed. The guy concentrated and swung his stick upwards, activating the water dragon tug. The bright blue dragon headed towards Mo Xiao. He thought about how powerful this punch was. He tried to block it, but it flew away. Zheng Yang rushed towards his friend fearfully. Feeling embarrassed, Yuan Dao said, "It seems like the Wang clan's techniques are not that good." A shocked Zhao Yao said that Teacher Zhang's technique is amazing. Yang Li added that he could still beat Zheng Yang not long ago, and Wang Yin asked if it was time for them to go back to training. After helping his friend stand up, Zheng Yang asked if he was okay. Answering that he was fine, he asked, "What was that?" The brunette laughed and said it was something his teacher taught him. Mo Xiao asked, was this really Teacher Zhang's technique? But was he strong in the spear before? The guy thought about the fact that this technique was stronger than the Wang family's techniques by at least twice as much. Was he just handed down this kind of knowledge for nothing? Zheng Yang replied that Teacher Zhang spared nothing for them. He was a true teacher. Mo Xiao asked, "What is the name of this incredible technique?" Zheng Yang thought for a moment, and then awkwardly replied that he didn't know. It was recently created by a teacher, but the teacher didn't have time to name it. Hearing this, the guy was shocked, thinking that this technique was much better than the Wang clan's secrets. It might even be the best in Tianshuan, but it doesn't have a name. Zheng Yang asked his friend to help him think of a better name for it. The one asked, surprised, "What is he saying? Creating each technique is a hard and long process. Its name will live on for centuries to come. Isn't this disrespectful to his teacher?" But Zheng Yang smiled and told him not to worry. The teacher himself had allowed him to name the technique. In fact, all the techniques they were learning were invented by Teacher Zhang, and they themselves gave them a name. Mo Xiao was even more shocked and asked, "Does the latter really let them name their own techniques?" He thought about the fact that he had created a different technique for everyone, and even gave them the right to name it. Who the hell was he? Putting another book down, Zhang Xuan thought to himself that this was worthy of a master painter. Every possible painting book in the kingdom was here. These are the books he should be able to handle. Looking around the library once more, he closed his eyes and saw the best option. Master Lu Shen approached the library, thinking about the fact that they had been waiting for him for 3 hours already. Does he really want it again? Closing her eyes, Zhang thought about the fact that painting is divided into drawing and calligraphy. It can help one overcome impatience and allows one to achieve a calm state of mind. Looking at the guy, the old man thought, what is he doing? Has he gone to another rank again? But then Zhang opened his eyes and saw the face of the master beside him. They bounced away from each other with a scream, and then the guy asked the master what was wrong with him. Standing up in a protective stance, the man asked if he had moved to another rank. Zhang replied that of course not. Lu Shen exhaled and said that he had just been here for a very long time, and he decided to see how he was doing. The guy waved his hand, smiling as he asked, who could move to the next rank so easily? But the man gave him a disgruntled look, in his mind asking what wasn't it easy for him last time. At least the man isn't trying to kill him, or else he doesn't think he could let him out into his office again. He asked him if he was up for the challenge. The man replied with a smile that he was. The man added that they were all waiting for the show they could see his skill. Walking into the living room, Zhang apologized and thanked him for waiting. Master Yuan Yu said nothing, but now Zhang is ready to start writing? He nodded affirmatively, and Lu Shen told him to start. The guy walked over to the brushes and picked up one of them, and Huang Yu said that they would finally get to see Master Zhang's art. The prince added that he couldn't wait. Lu Shen confirmed that they had, in truth, been waiting for a long time. Zhang Huang took 4 brushes at once, touched their nap, dipped them in the ink, and licked the tip. Everyone was shocked. Lu Shen asked what was he doing. Huang Yu inquired that this wasn't teacher Zhang's first time holding the brushes, was it? The prince admitted that when he first saw the brushes he looked exactly the same. Yuan Yu clarified that he was reading those books to learn how to paint, not to appease himself, right? But Zhang tossed one brush, it spun around and he caught it again, saying he was starting. Tossing it high into the air again, he intercepted it and began to paint confidently across the canvas. With his other hand he took the other and twisting it, he too began to paint. Looking at it in surprise, Lu Shen said, "Is this the Flight of Dragons?" Bai Sen asked, "What is the Flight of Dragons?" Yuan Yu replied that it was a method created by some of the greatest calligraphers and painters to improve the quality of their painting. Lu Shen continued that the mind is divided into 2 parts, using 2 brushes that start painting from the left and right edges of the painting. Instead of creating an outline of the painting, the artist paints the image directly and his or her representation of the painting. And when the 2 brushes meet, the painting is complete. Yuan Yu added that despite the speed of this method, the complexity also increases. One needs to have a clear view of the future painting, also splitting the mind in 2 to make it work out. In addition, one must also have a very subtle understanding of the colors in the painting. Only in this way, there will be no problem in connecting the 2 sides. Master Lu Shen admitted that this was an extremely high-level technique. Even he and brother Yuan Yu are not capable of such a thing. Frowning his eyebrows, he thought about the fact that one must be absolutely confident in the ability to complete a painting to use this technique. Without some decades of practice, it would be impossible to execute this technique. However, Zhang suddenly mastered it. But Yuan Yu told them to put aside their astonishment for now. This painting method requires a perfect connection in the center of the painting. Otherwise, it would be hard to call it a success. If he made a mistake, the whole painting might collapse. The man thought there that the right and left parts, left and right offenses must not only be executed perfectly, but also skillfully joined. If they are not, the whole picture is finished. Yuan Yu said that one must remember that painting is very closely related to the artist's mind. Without clear concentration, a painting, no matter how beautiful, is useless. This technique divides the painting into 2 parts, causing a split in this very artistic idea. Thus, even if the 2 sides match perfectly in the middle of the canvas, a painting like this would have a hard time making it to the 3rd level. That one is too eager to impress them. A braggart. Lu Shen laughed and said that the one is still young, what else can be expected from him? Yuan Yu added that the dragon technique is spectacular and fast. It is suitable for street artists. After all, it is only a technique. If he continues in the same vein in life, he feared, he won't accomplish much. That's when Bai Sen told them to take a look. It was time to put the pieces together. A shocked Lu Shen exclaimed, how could this be possible? He began to describe that on one side were people, on the other side was nature, one side was silence and tranquility, on the other side was perpetual motion. It was the most natural synthesis. The former dissonance between the left and right sides of the wall instantly merges into a unified whole. The picture is perfect. This is definitely the painting of a skillful master. Yuan Yu added that it was amazing. Just a touch changed the entire composition. Zhang Xuan said with a smile that he was finished and asked them to appreciate his painting. They all stood around the table. Huang Yu said that it was very beautiful. When the old men looked at it, Yuan Yu said it was a pity, and Lu Shen agreed with him. Bai Sen objected that the painting was very beautiful. What's wrong? The gray-haired man said that the work was perfectly done without a single mistake, and the colors, the technique were all excellent as well. But like he said, this kind of technique doesn't pay proper attention to the idea. They see the elaboration of details, but what is the concept of the painting? Without it, the painting won't be rated above level 2. There is a huge gap between it and third-level paintings. Lu Shen smilingly told the guy that he was still young. When he was their age, he would be able to draw a third or fourth level painting. Yuan Yu added that he really has talent. However, one should be more modest. Zhang looked at them in surprise and then scratched the back of his head and laughed awkwardly and said that yes, he was sorry for his lateness. Yuan Yu replied that he has a good foundation now, so if he develops it well and works hard, he will be able to paint third-level paintings in no time. Let him not waste his talent. Lu Shen added that to create a meaningful painting, one must observe more, have a broader understanding of the world, and be more aware of his surroundings. Zhang replied that of course he would try his best. But then Bai Sen asked Master Zhang why his men and beasts didn't have eyes. Huang Yu noticed this too, and asked if he had forgotten about them. Lu Shen was confused, and Zhang replied that he would fix it now. Drawing the eyes of the beautiful girl, the painting lit up and silhouettes of people and animals appeared in the room. Huang Yu asked her teacher, is it level 4 or is it level 1? Master Lu replied that it wasn't. This is the 5th level, spiritualization. The levels he named before are the most popular in the fine arts, but there is another one that is so rare that few people know about it. This is spiritualization. A painting that has reached this level possesses the soul, the energy of the master who painted it, which means that all the living beings depicted on it become almost real. At this moment, the girl's boyfriend in the beautiful robe bowed to Zhang Xuan. The shocked Yuan Yu exclaimed that he thought these were only legends, but he was seeing it with his own eyes. Bai Sen called Zhang a master and then a sage. He asked if he could purchase his painting. He would do anything. Zhang asked in surprise, would he give it to her? The boy replied that yes. He asks because he has a good reputation. He respects him and obeys his orders without question. He asked to give it back again, but then Huang Yu shouted at him asking if he was crazy. This is a work of art that Master Zhang painted with his own hands. He had put so much feeling into it, how could he just give away such a painting? She then turned to Master Zhang with a smile, saying that out of everyone, she had met him first, and she had helped him. She could buy this painting. She would give any money for it. The outraged prince asked what was she doing. The girl replied to the guy, asking why he wanted all this. He wanted the black lily of the valley. Let him have it. She concedes him that painting. The prince replied that he didn't need that painting anymore, so let her get out of the way. The girl retorted by asking that he wanted her so badly. What happened all of a sudden? The prince countered that anyway, he was the first to say he wanted her. Master Lu, who was watching them, thought gloomily that these two used to fight over his black lily pad so much that they wanted to tear each other's throats out. But as soon as Brother Zhang's painting appeared, they immediately forgot about his painting. Do they even have principles? The men shouted that enough was enough. Even for the most artificial master, a level 5 painting is not easy. To me, every generation can boast of such a specimen. Brother Zhang will decide what to do with his work. Each level 5 painting has an incredible value. How can it be measured in money? Do they even have a conscience? The disciples bowed, admitted that they were at fault, and apologized to Teacher Zhang. Master Lu told him that they had behaved ignorantly, and he hoped that he would forgive them. And Zhang Huang asked the man in surprise, can his painting really be sold? Would it be bought? The man awkwardly coughed, reply that of course. His level 5 painting will be worth at least 2 million gold. It is a very valuable piece of art. Zhang happily replied that it was excellent. and then informed Bai Sen that if he agreed, the painting would be his for 2 million. Huang Yu said in a confused manner that she might as well. To this, Huang replied with a smile so she wouldn't worry. Does she want it too? If they want, he will draw another one for them, it's not that hard. Surprised Master Yuan Yu thought to himself, does he really want to paint another painting? Is it not that important to him? He's painting paintings, not selling cabbages in the market. A similarly shocked Master Lu thought to himself, even if you are a master painter to paint another painting, there isn't a single person in Tianxuan who has painted a 5th-level painting. That's saying something at least. Seeing their doubts, Zhang Huang asked, is it really not necessary anymore? After a small amount of time, everyone was shocked again when they saw another 5th-level painting. He asked the 2 masters that for 2 million he could paint them as well. The 2 asked confusedly could they buy one too. To this, Huang replied that as long as they had the money, sure. Bai Sen, holding the host in his hand, told Master Zhang that he would send him the money as soon as possible, and Huang Yu happily declared to send it to the academy. With happy eyes counting the money, Zhang thought about the fact that he had gotten 8 million in such a short time. 1 million treatment from Lord Lin's wife, 3 from Du Miao Xuan, only the same from Wang Chong, Chen Xiao, and Luo Chong. With the money received, it was almost 20 million. He thought that it was impossible to earn more than 20 million in 8 to 10 years. Now it seems like it's not that hard. Lu Shen told his friend that it was too late to visit Grandmaster today. The latter replied that yes, but they could do it tomorrow. Master Lu then added that he thought he was just a talented boy with fire in his eyes and a passion for painting. He wanted to take him as his apprentice, but who knew he was a master of calligraphy and painting? Yuan Yu asked what family he was from. Master Lu turned to Huang Yu, saying that she was also in the academy. What did she know about Brother Zhang's background or reputation? The girl excitedly replied that she knew some things, but they wouldn't believe her and would probably get angry. The man asked with a smile, because of what? He had nothing to be angry about. The girl awkwardly said then she will tell. Master Zhang is famous in the academy as a loser and constantly endures bullying. Mater Lu shockedly interjected, was it really 0 points on the teacher's test? Has his student gone crazy? How could this be possible? Yuan Yu disbelievingly said that he had just drawn several level 5 paintings. How could he be a loser? The girl replied that he was probably a victim of the administration's arbitrary behavior. Annoyed, Yuan Yu said that he had met Shang Chen earlier. He seemed like a good person to him. He didn't expect him to be. He turned to the girl and said that she was the assistant grandmaster, and her father was the leader of the teachers' guild. She could teach the bastard a lesson, but the girl said that the matter had already been resolved. Master Lu said, that's really pissed off. It looked like he would need to have a word with Head Hong to keep a better eye on the academy's affairs. The girl modestly replied that this was exactly what she meant by the phrase that he would get angry. But the master asked, is something wrong? What other arbitrary behavior is going on within these walls? The girl replied that it wasn't exactly like that. Someone is calling Master Zhang to evaluate the teachers. Master Lu asked, what does that mean? And Yuan Yu replied with a smile that it seems to be a teacher confrontation where their students fight for the honor and dignity of the teachers. So who was it that called out Master Zhang? Lu Shen added that if the latter knew Brother Zhang's abilities, he wouldn't have done it. The girl told them to listen. The teacher who challenged is very famous. He's a real celebrity with a large number of students studying under him. Only the best students study under him. Yuan Yu anticipated and asked what this teacher's name was. The girl replied that it was Master Lu's son, Teacher Lu Sen. Hearing this, shouted that it was a curse. Here it comes. He just called him brother, tried to befriend him, and this idiot wants to fight him. He's going to destroy him. Yuan Yu tried to restrain his friend, telling him to calm down. There must have been some misunderstanding. The man objected that it was that walking misunderstanding he would show him. Huang Yu frightenedly thought that this was the first time he saw Master Lu getting angry. Just then, a servant approached them, addressing Master Lu. The man irritatedly asked, what? Did that asshole come back? Chen Bo replied that not really. He had a letter from the emperor. Both old men froze, and Lu Shen thought about the fact that he had arranged to visit the library tomorrow. Why this letter? Taking the scroll in his hands, he unfolded it and read it. Seeing his friend's surprised face, Yuan Yu asked what's wrong. Lu Shen gave him the scroll, telling him to take a look. Familiarizing himself with it, the gray-haired old man replied that it was impossible, right? Lu Shen replied to him that this is a letter from the emperor. It's not just a piece of paper. Everything here is true. Then he told the servant to prepare the carriage. They are leaving. As they approached the luxurious mansion, Master Lu Shen asked one of the 4 guards if the emperor was at his place. The one replied that, unfortunately, they were still on their way. The master replied that they would wait then. He then told his friend that he had recently seen the chief elder himself. His condition was pitiful. Even without being a doctor, one could realize that death was near. Yuan Yu agreed, adding that he was afraid that if he didn't get a new rank, his days were numbered. He had always thought that as it was announced His Majesty had gone hunting, but he had been busy with business all this time. Just then a large carriage pulled up, with many guards around it. The men bowed, greeting the emperor. A large man with a gray beard and gray hair, wearing expensive but simple clothes, was happy to see his teacher and Mr. Yuan Yu. Lu Shen hesitantly asked the emperor if it was true that the supreme elder. The latter replied that yes, it was true, and then added that they should go inside. There were more guests waiting. Once inside the gazebo, the emperor apologized for the wait to the grandmasters. He said that he was honored to see them all together in his kingdom. Grandmaster Zhen, who had brown hair gathered in a ponytail and the same beard, replied to the emperor that he was too welcoming. Still, they weren't just here for the elder. There were several other elderly men standing next to him. Mr. Zhuang, who had red hair and a long beard, and Mr. Liu, whose hair was mint-colored, gathered into a short ponytail and had round black glasses over his eyes. Mr. Zheng added that firstly, they were celebrating Elder Tian's birthday, and secondly, he felt that Hongtian Academy had an interesting specimen. He would like to take someone to be his disciple. The emperor asked interestedly, "He must be talking about teacher Lu Sen. He is an excellent mentor and one of the most, if not the most stellar teacher. He's heard of him. Besides, he is the son of his marvelous mentor Lu Shen after all." The man pointed at his teacher, and the man bowed shockedly. The Grandmaster called him the great artist Lu Shen, expressed his respect and said that he had heard of his talent. The latter thanked him for his kind words, and Mr. Zheng proposed to get down to business. They are here for the sake of the elder. The emperor excitedly asked if they could cure him. The emperor lowered his head, thinking that he had hoped that by gathering the 3 grandmasters he could solve this problem, but he heard nothing new. Mr. Zhen told him not to despair. They were all 1-star grandmasters. If he managed to invite a 2-star grandmaster, he might be able to make it, but maybe this situation was no longer solvable. The emperor looked at him in surprise and then exhaled, thinking about the fact that to gather the 3 of them, he had already spent a lot of money. A 2nd-star grandmaster wouldn't even look at him. But then Yuan Yu told the emperor that he had some information that might interest him. A man came to the city a few days ago. Everyone says grandmaster. Seems to be more than 1 star. The emperor was surprised to think that perhaps this was the 5-star incident in the report. He didn't have time to review it. Yuan Yu added that this grandmaster was able to cure Lin Tianyu's wife and help Du Xiao Xuan. Mr. Zheng asked that aren't grandmasters only in the business of curing? Mr. Liu added that although grandmasters are capable in all professions, their main duty is to guide others to achieve a breakthrough in their current level of cultivation. Mr. Zhuang asked what is his name. He knows all the 2-star masters in the surrounding kingdoms. The man replied that his name was Zhang Xuan. He hardly knows anything about him. Mr. Zheng said that the surrounding kingdoms don't have such a 2-star grandmaster, and he also knows some 3-star grandmasters, but he doesn't remember anyone being called that. Mr. Zhuang said it's probably just a scammer. He demands 3 million to visit him. Would a real grandmaster or a real grandmaster deal in material wealth? Mr. Liu added that it is actually easy to check whether he is a fraud or not. Elder Tian's birthday will be in a few days and he will be free tomorrow. He can escort them to take a look at him in person. Mr. Zhuang added with a smile that grandmaster was not a profession that could be so easily imitated. He would like to see him too. Mr. Zheng admitted that he was curious. Yuan Yu said that he would escort them there tomorrow then. The next day, Zhang Huang told his butler that he was leaving. If anyone is coming, have them wait outside. Walking down the street in his usual appearance, Zhang thought with a smile that today he should visit the royal library and finally upgrade to a new rank. In Lu Shen's office, the man told Zhang's brother that he deeply apologized to him. The boy asked in surprise, "Why? He won't get into the royal library?" The man replied that it was not that. A strange situation had happened. Zhang asked what was it about. Master Lu explained that he had heard that his foolish son was giving him trouble. That one had called him in for a teacher evaluation. He will tell him to give up today. Zhang Huang said in surprise. He doesn't want to say that Lu Sen is his son, does he? But the man sadly replied that that was exactly the case. They quarreled with him 3 years ago and he left home. Zhang waved his hand with a smile, saying that now that everything had already been decided, there was no need to bother him. Otherwise, it would turn out that he was the one who asked him to talk the other one into it. The man replied that he understood. His child had never failed once, and as a result he had become complacent. It would be nice if he could show the one that he wasn't the best. Zhang replied that of course. Approaching the large library building, Lu Shen handed the guy a golden token, saying that with this order of the Golden Dragon, he would be able to check out all the books he liked. But don't let him get carried away there. He won't be able to guide him any further. Zhang thanked Master Lu with a smile, to which the latter replied that no thanks were needed. Now it was time for him to go. Let him feel free to read the books he needs. No one will distract him. Stepping inside and seeing the vast number of racks of books, Zhang thought to himself that this was truly a royal library. It won't be easy, but he must flip through them all. Yuan Yu told the gentleman that Master Yang's residence was in front of them. He then told one of the servants to ask his master for an appointment. But then Sun Qian came out from behind the gate and told them that they had to pay 3 million to enter. Later, the master would invite them in whenever he wanted. The man awkwardly coughed, said that he was Yuan and he was here to show his respect for Master Yang. The guy poked his finger at the man's chest, asking Wen, "Fuan, what difference does it make? Did he hear what the man said? Let him pay the 3 million and wait here. Perhaps they will all have a chance to get to the master." The guy narcissistically thought about his master being a grandmaster. Whoever he is, he should treat him with respect. Yuan Yu got angry, but then Mr. Zhen stood in front of him, who told the guy with a smile that they were just passing by and they would like to pay the old man a visit. Could he please make him aware of their presence? Sun Qian grabbed the old man's beard, asked, "Is he deaf? Didn't he hear what he just said? Either he pays the 3 million or leaves." The man awkwardly said, "So he wouldn't be so aggressive. Why the manhandling?" He took out his token and said that it was his Jade Grandmaster token. But the guy didn't finish listening to him, loudly asking if his head was okay. Is he thinking of fooling him with rotten jade? There's no need to fool him. He wants the money. He yanked the man's jade and it fell to the ground, shattering. Yuan Yu looked at the shards, thinking that this item was the insignia of Grandmasters. He immediately put the money into the guy's hands, telling him to just hurry up and tell his master about it. The lad turned away, saying that here they can whenever they want. If they had money, what was the use of that pitiful jade? He had never seen such greedy people. Don't they know that he, Sun Qian, is very principled? Let them not even dare to think of entering without paying. Hiding the money in his inner pocket, he told them to wait here. The foreman had some business to attend to, and he wasn't working right now. When he came back and found time, he would invite them in. Yuan Yu irritatedly thought, why didn't the man tell them this earlier? Only after he got the money, right? It would be one thing if he came alone. However, how could they keep these 3 grandmasters here? The man, holding back, forced out a smile and asked if he could inform the grandmaster of their arrival. They have a very important matter to attend to. The guy asked, what's the rush? Yuan Yu replied that it was rather personal stuff that was not convenient to discuss with him. The guy grudgingly asked, why is that? He had learned a lot from the master. He had always been at his techniques. Simple problems could well be solved without him. Master Jing said okay and asked what was wrong with him. Sun Qian looked at him and asked how his family was doing. The man was surprised, I think, is the man asking about his family. He asked, what was he asking about? The guy stated he would ask differently. Is his family still alive? The others were shocked to think that the man was actually interested in his family. And he was so nonchalant. How could he be so confident? Seeing that the man was getting angry, the butler thought, isn't it working? Every time the master repeated the question a second time, everyone immediately softened. Should he try it again? He told the man to let him feel his wife. Seeing that the man was even more angry, the guy awkwardly said that maybe he was actually an animal. The other 2 grandmasters started to mentally tell Mr. Zhen to be calmer. This petty person just doesn't know what he's talking about. It's unknown who is behind him. If his master is really a grandmaster, it won't be easy to resolve the conflict. Oh, and would a dispute with a lowly butler give him much or any honor as well? Mr. Zhuang told the guy that they were still hoping that he would grant their wish. With them is the honorable grandmaster from the Beihui Kingdom, Grandmaster Liu Lin. The guy wanted to object, what did he care? But then it came to him and he asked fearfully, what did the guy say? Is he the grandmaster? The guy pointed his finger at Grandmaster Liu, and the guy said that when his master returns, just have him say that Grandmasters Liu, Zhuang, and Zheng would like to see him. It must be done in person. Shuddering, Sun Qian replied that his master had left early in the morning and he didn't know how soon he would return. Zheng angrily asked what did he say. I don't know when he will be back. And Zhuang told him not to be angry. Mr. Liu took out a small envelope, handed it to the guy and told him to hand him the scroll. With trembling hands the guy took it and the gentleman turned around. Liu Lin added that when his master returned, they would come again. He then turned to Master Yuan saying that it looked like it was time for them to go. When they left, Sun Qian fell to his knees, thinking about how it seemed that one couldn't just make a clever appearance and speak his master's words. He would never do that again in his life. When they were riding in the carriage, one of the grandmasters asked Brother Liu what he thought about it. The man corrected his glasses and replied that it was true that there was a grandmaster living in this manner, and he wasn't weaker than them, that was for sure. Yuan Yu asked, how did he realize that he hadn't even seen him? How can one say such a thing about a person? But it was Mr. Zheng who replied that they hadn't seen him but had examined his butler. It might seem like he was completely hopeless. Mr. Zhuang continued that his body structure, his microflora are all mediocre. Honestly speaking, under normal circumstances his limit is rank 3. But they had seen his strength, right? Yuan Yu said that he was at the last stage of rank 4. Mr. Liu replied that exactly, the last stage of the 4th rank, and it looks like he is full of strength. Based on the fact that he was just an ordinary merchant before, this can only be explained by the involvement of the estate owner. Zheng continued that unsuitable physique, not having developed a qi gathering technique and a weak body, his meridians should have long ago been blocked by dirty qi. But not only had he still advanced to the 4th rank, he was already almost at the 5th rank. Such a thing is extremely difficult even for him. Zhuang added that if he understood correctly, his master had used his qi to purify this kid's meridians. This was the only way to break through almost a rank ahead. Liu added that for such a technique, the qi had to be the purest, otherwise it wasn't feasible, or this person was an 8th ranker. Zheng said that even though this person is not a grandmaster, he is clearly powerful. They had better not offend him, and if he is still a grandmaster, his potential is far beyond them. Zhuang added that if they did wrong to this butler, namely beating him up, it would be hard to deal with it afterward. At least they had given him a scare. Yuan Yu looked at them and thought about how amazing this was. With just one glance they had realized so much, which was what was expected of grandmasters. He asked, what should they do since that person wasn't home? Mr. Zhen frowned and stated that just because he wasn't home didn't mean they couldn't check him out. They need to gather all the people he helped. It was already mid-afternoon when Zhang Xuan finished with the books. He said that he would finally be able to approach the 7th rank. We should give it a try. As he started meditating, he increased his level. He opened his eyes in surprise and wondered if he had discovered all 108 acupuncture points. He thought that according to legend, there are 108 acupuncture points on the body, but only 72 of them can be opened. And each person has a different order of opening them, because each person is different. If you do it wrong, you will only be able to open 30, 40 points, and that without the possibility of moving to the next rank. 108 occultural points equal sign 10 din 20 din from the 6th rank, plus 90 din of the golden body of the heavenly path equal sign 218 din. After calculating this, he mentally chuckled and thought about the fact that the rank of attaining truths at the beginning level was 100 strength, 200 at the intermediate level, 300 ding at the advanced stage, and 400 ding at the peak. His strength is comparable to the intermediate stage of the 7th rank. Looking at the books, he said that it was a pity that there was no information about the 7th rank itself. 7th rank holders are elite warriors. Such knowledge can't be so easily accessible, but he still has the opportunity to see new fighting techniques. He walked back and forth in the library, having studied the 72 master steps, whirlwind steps, 34 chain techniques, and the smooth dragon step. As he held another book in his hands, he thought about the fact that Wang Yin's legs were sore. Even with his medicine, she would still be recovering for a while so she could use special exercises. With these techniques, she would recover much faster. In the Heaven's Path library, he formed 2 new books, the Heavenly Movement Technique and the Heavenly Step Technique. He opened the book to see what was in it. He realized that what it said was the most basic knowledge. As with the spear, only one movement was formed, This technique can move 20 meters in half a breath. To an untrained person, it's more like teleportation. It's not bad. After that, he obtained the Heavenly Fist technique. Zhang Xuan, who was at the gate of the Imperial Manor, asked the apothecary Chen Xiao in surprise. Why was he here? Behind the old man were Lord Lin and Luo Chong. The old man replied that His Majesty had summoned him as well. It might have something to do with Grandmaster Yang. Lord Lin added that after all, many of them were familiar with him. Du Miao replied that it was true. They decided that they should enter already. There was talk in the city that Master Liu, Master Zhuang, and Master Zheng had come to the city and visited Master Yang together. Someone replied that yes, but he heard that the three of them were waiting to be let in at the gate. He was answered that he didn't know what happened, but the three grandmasters still wanted to check on him, I guess. The second replied that it was still to make people of such a level wait. Who is this Master Yang? The first replied that they say he is a grandmaster, but he doesn't believe it. No one has heard his name. The second said that if he isn't a grandmaster, he can't get away with it. The first explained that grandmasters usually lead an open lifestyle, living with the people, not locked away in castles, right? So who is he? The guy replied that he didn't know, but isn't their country evolving? Isn't it becoming different? The man who sat at the table with him replied that yes, grandmasters belong to one country and develop with it. But isn't it prestigious to have such a name? Why doesn't anyone know about it? The guy said again that grandmasters do bring honor to the state. It immediately has more weight in political games. The man with brown hair and wearing purple clothes told His Majesty that although the information about this person hasn't been verified yet, but it's safe to say that he is capable. Otherwise he wouldn't be able to help so many people. Even if that person isn't a grandmaster, he thinks that person will be able to help the elder. The emperor ordered to send someone to guard him, and immediately tell him to come to the palace. He wants to see him himself. Academy, Lu Sen's class. The teacher confidently said that this kind of opportunity was once in a lifetime. If they could please this Master Yan, they would secure a great future for themselves. The teacher, who had neck-length purple hair and bright green eyes, added with a smile that yes, they should see him to impress him. He then asked, "What about Zhang Huang?" Lu Sen replied that the one was just a stepping stone on his path to Master Teacher. Let him not worry about him. His students are secretly trained. They will easily defeat his mediocrities. He is sure to win and attract the attention of many important people. The other interlocutor smiled and said then congratulated him in advance. Lu Sen thanked him. The fifth day in the library. Barely able to stay on his feet, Zhang Huang walked to the last shelf to see what was here. Sitting on the floor, he realized that he was holding a book on poisons. He decided that although he didn't want to be a poison master, it was worth a look. There was little chance of anything happening. As he walked outside and closed his eyes against the sun, Zhang thought about the fact that he had been in this library for 5 days and 5 nights, and he was still at the 6th rank. It's time to sleep, but he can't rest. The medicine should be here soon. Gotta get back to the mansion. He hopes someone will come to see him. He wants to sleep so badly. The man who wore a plain brown hat and had a scar on his left eye was called Zhang Mo. He said that Du Chao's residence was in front of them. This man is a despicable tycoon. He has done many immoral deeds throughout his life. Although he has already been quite plundered by other people, it is better a tit in hand than a crane in the sky. Walking beside him was Zhang Liao, who had a scar on his right eye. They were 2 famous robbers in the Tianshuan kingdom. They robbed the rich to help the poor. Zhang Liao replied, however, he should check the guards before attacking. His house is around the corner. He was already here. But as soon as they came out from around the corner, they saw a huge line at the gate of Zhang Huang's mansion. They thought, "What's the matter there?" Zhang Liao asked, "That isn't that the 8-armed warrior Lu Kaiwan?" Zhang Mo replied, "That wasn't that one injured while hunting a beast and disappeared." While looking at the crowd, he saw a guy who was wearing yellow robes, whose arms were strong and pumped up with a golden snake tattoo, and realized that it was indeed him. Then he thought, "Isn't that the stone dragon Feng Jun, the Iron Fist?" He said that the one is the #1 expert in Hanshui City. It is said that his iron fists are capable of evolving boulders. He is so powerful that even Emperor Shen Jue reads him as his opponent. Why is he here and standing in line? But then he saw a few more people, including the pale surgeon Hu Xiaobai, the long-armed Li Lunchuan Hai, the divine eye Duan Ju Jiang. The man wanted to go forward, but Zhang Liao stopped him, saying that each of them is a famous weapon master. They would be defeated by even the weakest of this crowd. they should not be allowed to appear there. Zhang Mo added that all these masters sometimes even disregarded the invitation of the emperor himself. Why are they all standing in front of this door? Zhang Liao replied that he didn't know, but if they stuck their heads in there, they would be finished. They squatted with their backs against the wall. Zhang Liao thought about how it had been a long time since they had been here. He thought they would find a great victim. How did everything happen like this? This person is really powerful. Zhang Mo asked his brother if they really wanted to rob this mansion, to which he replied that they wouldn't steal anything there. They won't even be able to enter it. They won't even reach the door yet, and they will already die. Zhang Mo grudgingly said that it didn't matter what kind of person was there. Shouldn't the emperor take care of it? Then they heard the sound of a carriage coming to a stop. They looked out from behind the wall and saw that it was the emperor himself. Apparently the emperor is really stumped since he came here in person. All of these papas greeted the emperor. One of them told the emperor to stand forward. He came here early and took a seat for him. The shocked brothers thought about what is going on here. Would the emperor also stand patiently in line? What kind of person lives there? At this moment they noticed someone coming. It turned out to be the grandmasters, 3 of them at once. The emperor bowed to them, greeting them. The brothers immediately hid behind the wall, fearfully thinking that even 3 grandmasters had teamed up to come here. No wonder the emperor himself was here. It's a good thing they looked around before entering. This is a horror. Why are the grandmasters themselves standing around and not entering? Just then they noticed that the gate doors had opened, and they recognized that wasn't it the peddler Sun Qian. The emperor asked the butler if his master had returned yet. The fellow excitedly replied that he was sorry, but the man hadn't returned yet. He asked him to wait. He would send people to them as soon as he returned. Pouring tears in his thoughts, Sun Qian asked Master to return soon. He wouldn't be here for long. Mr. Zhen said that since he hadn't returned yet, they would wait longer. The guy wanted to reply that he thought it would be better, but he didn't have time to finish because he saw his master behind them. Zhang Huang looked at all of this unhappily, thinking, what's going on here? Why is there such a long line here? The 2 brothers who were watching this were thinking that was this really the one everyone had been waiting for so long. Were all these great martial artists waiting for him? Sun Yaqian told the master that he was so glad that he had returned. The man grudgingly replied, okay, what's the matter? Why are there so many people here? The butler replied that these people were waiting for him. But the guy didn't have time to finish because the emperor bowed to Grandmaster Yang and wanted to introduce himself, but Zhang gave him an angry look, saying that he had asked his butler. Did he ask him? Hearing this, the 2 brothers hit the floor, thinking, what is going on here? So much has changed here while they were gone. Looking at his master with admiring eyes, Sun Qian thought about how, as expected, he was not even afraid of the emperor. Zhang told him to continue. The boy told his master that he had been away for a few days. In that time, a line had gathered to see him. Even the emperor himself, the grandmasters. Zhang asked, where are they? The emperor coughed, raised his hand and said he was. Zhang was shocked, thinking to himself, is he really the emperor? So why didn't he answer him? He had just returned from his library and was already talking to him. The emperor said that he was Shen Jue. He pointed at the men behind him and asked to be allowed to introduce the 3 men, Liu Shi, Zhen Shi, and Zhuang Shi. Zhang Huang looked at them in surprise, thinking, does Tian Xuan have grandmasters? How did something like this happen? He was only gone for a week. Why are they here? All 3 of them introduced themselves again and greeted Zhang. They looked at him sternly, and the latter, along with his butler, walked forward and said that then the 4 of them let them follow him first. Mr. Liu mentally asked Brother Zheng if he could see. The one replied that on that disguise it wasn't his real appearance. Based on his skin and movements, he should be an extremely young man under 30. In reality, he's not even 25 yet. Mr. Zhuang had told them that the one in disguise was extremely young. Furthermore, did they see his tired look? He's on edge. How can a grandmaster get to such a state? He's probably a fraud. It's just that they'll find a way to expose him. Sitting in his chair, Zhang Huang asked if he could find out how he could help the 3 grandmasters. Mr. Zheng started to say that he had heard that Yang Shi was an experienced practitioner and could help others advance to a new rank. He had come in hopes that he could help him do so. Zhang frowned and told him to speak straightforwardly about what the matter was. In his mind, he was so tired. Wants to sleep. Need to hurry up and earn the remaining amount and need to sleep after buying medicine. Zhang thought the guy is just as cocky as his butler. They will teach him a lesson just like his servant. Mr. Zhuang said he's having trouble cultivating. He needs some advice. At this moment, he has already peaked at rank 7 and is only one step away from making a breakthrough. However, no matter how much he practiced, the speed at which the true energy in his body gathers has slowed down a lot, and he can't take the final step towards a breakthrough. He has tried every possible method to achieve a breakthrough, but it has been useless. He hoped that he would be able to help him. Zhang thought about the fact that he is still far away from the 7th rank and has no idea what kind of opportunities it provides. This man is almost at rank 8. It will be difficult, but you have to try. He said let him show him his punch then. The man agreed, clenched his fist and lunged forward, causing the shockwave to shatter the wall that was outside. While Zhang Huang was searching for information in the library, Sun Qian thought there, Zhuang's qi furiously passing through his body like a soaring dragon, which was expected from a grandmaster. The man asked Zhang to give his instructions. The man asked if that was exactly what he wanted. In fact, the problem is so simple that he might not believe it, but he can help him. Does he definitely want to move to a new rank? The man asked in surprise. Could he really help him? And he thought about the fact that he had been trying to overcome this rank for so long, but had been stuck in the same place for years. How so? Pouring himself some tea, Zhang said that he could do it in 10 minutes. The man was surprised by this. Mr. Zhang thought about how as friends they had also examined him, but came to the conclusion that it was impossible. But this one wants to tackle it in 10 minutes? Zhang took the lid off the mug and said, after all, the choice is his. Zhuang gritted his teeth and replied that he was ready, and he thought to himself that if what he was saying was true, it was unbelievable. But if not, he will bring him out. Zhang said okay, and then turned to Sun Qian, telling him to get some guards since you were the sack and sticks. Hearing this, the man began to peer around, wondering if it was definitely necessary to move up to the next rank and not to catch pigs. After a small amount of time, the butler told the lord that everything was ready. Standing there were 5 guards with sticks in their hands. Zhang herded from his chair and pointed his hand at Mr. Zhuang, telling the guards that this great man wanted to advance to the next rank and hoped for their help. The men replied that they were honored. Zhang said he needed them to seal the acupuncture points in his body so the qi could not move. Zhang asked why block the points to move to the next rank. How would his breakthrough go then? But Zhang told him that if he wanted to advance to the next rank, let him just listen to him. If he still doesn't want to break through, let him forget about it, he doesn't care. The man replied glumly that fine, he would do anything, something to say. In his thoughts he asked, did the man really think he could get him to back down? No way. Zhang smilingly told Master Zheng to do it, and Mr. Zhuang thought they would watch the latter make him break through. If he failed, they would be waiting for him together. Celestial Encyclopedia. What does it mean to be half a step away from some rank? It means that the cultivator has not fully but only partially mastered the new rank's abilities and is a short distance away from his target. Mr. Zhang approached his friend, hesitating, but the latter told him that it didn't matter. After this permission, the man touched his friend's body with 2 fingers and then informed him that the points were sealed. Taking the bag from the butler's hands, Zhang said that he would now ask everyone present not to take any action despite whatever happens next. You have been answered, which is fine. Zhang chuckled and a huge poke at Zhuang. The latter shouted, asking what is he doing? He is a famous grandmaster, he has a great reputation. How dare he? The emperor wanted to object something, but Master Lu stopped him, telling him to be calm. They will see what the man will do. After tying the man up, Zhang turned to the guards and told them it was their turn. They wanted to help the master, didn't they? Now let them start beating him. Those were surprised and scared, asking if he really said that. They didn't want to die. They wanted to help him, not beat him up. Zhang asked, are they really saying no? Let him not worry. He has a bag over his head, he won't see who beat him up. If they are so worried, let them know they are safe, right? He can't see them. But the men thought about someone seeing them as soon as they came in. He also heard their voices. Mr. Zhang thought about the one not helping him. He wants revenge that they don't trust him. He has never heard that you use sack and sticks to move to the next rank. Zhang frowned and said, they are the same ones delaying the Master-S breakthrough. Is this what they wanted to do? After saying that, the men immediately became serious and decided that they would just obey the master. After all, he was also a grandmaster. Dying for a grandmaster wasn't that bad. They all pounced on the old man, beating him with sticks. The man in the sack was cursing Zhang and thinking about how he was intentionally beating him. It wasn't helping. Zhang, meanwhile, was admonishing the guards, saying someone's posture was wrong and for the other to be stronger. Then one of them asked the master how long they should beat the master for. Zhang hesitated, and then replied for them to beat him until he died. Hearing these words, Zhuang became even more angry and I cursed loudly. He then straightened up, ripped open his sack and pushed the guards away with his strength. Burning with anger, the man told Yang Huan that he would kill him today. How dare he? But Zhang, yawning, told him to look at his rank and then he would kill him. Grandmaster Zhuang asked, shocked, "How is this possible? He's at rank 8? The other men stared at it in disbelief, thinking that one had been beaten up and it worked. What kind of crazy way of breaking through? How could this have happened? The man asked the Grandmaster confusedly. What happened? With a slight chuckle, Zhang asked, didn't he already want to kill him? Bleeding sweat from what he felt guilty about, the man apologized for his insolence. Zhang replied with a smile that no, it wasn't his fault. The strike he had just thrown wasn't effective, but it wasn't a failure either. This meant that he had studied hard since he was a child. He had an excellent teacher. Zhuang replied that the one was right. He was trained by his father. He was a one-star grandmaster. Zhang continued that the one has trained hard. His body and the energy within him has long been ready to break through. Unfortunately, he is indecisive and insecure, and if he is right, his father never reached the 8th rank because it requires confidence and the ability to control his own strength. Zhuang looked at Zhang in surprise, thinking about the fact that although his father was a one-star grandmaster until his death, he had not even gotten close to the 8th rank, which made him terribly sad and he passed away soon after. But it was a secret. No one knew about it. How did he realize it? Is it evident in his punches? Are they not perfect? Zhang said that this kind of fear is not visible in the movements. It can't be cured technically or with pills. He asks him for advice. He knows that if he wants to succeed, he must first overcome his fear. Otherwise, everything will be the same. But this kind of fear has been buried in his heart for years. What difficulties did he want to overcome? The only way was to get angry, and then use that particular emotion to drown out the panic in his heart. That was why they were here. He didn't know the reason for his actions, and must have thought he had insulted him, hence why they hated him to the core. The fear of being unideal and going beyond the teachings dictated from childhood, plus the anger of not getting a breakthrough all got in his way. While he was saying all this, he turned his back to everyone. Zhuang fell to his knees and thanked Grandmaster Yang, and added that he would never forget his graces. Zhuang turned his head in their direction with a chuckle, asking if they still believed him. Zhuang looked at Zhang dumbfounded, realizing that he knew from the beginning that they doubted him, but still he had helped him even so. A mercy worthy of a grandmaster. Mr. Liu mentally told his friends that this man, though young, was not incredibly dead and capable. Zhang replied to him that yes, he really is a genius for recognizing the problem so quickly, and he was even able to help him, albeit in such an unusual way. Liu, fixing his glasses, added that although his way was not traditional, his success showed them that this man was much more powerful than they were. The others began to tell the Grandmaster that they had questions as well,